Welcome to Grow on the Go, your on-the-go spot for learning and development at UC Berkeley. Today's episode, Setting Professional Development Goals, with Lisa Rykert and Vaneese Johnson. Grow on the Go is produced by People and Organization Development in Berkeley People and Culture.
We've all had the thought, how am I going to make it to the next level in my career? Many of us jump right into taking a course or going to a workshop. At UC Berkeley, we have a wide range of courses offered by People and Culture, some of which include our amazing portfolio of programs available at Grow Your Skills, workshops through Grow Your Career, and our campus-wide membership subscription to LinkedIn Learning, just to name a few. Training is just one of the many options for taking your career to the next level. Going after the next journey in your career takes time to discover what's important to you, to explore options, plan via goal setting, and achieve your goals through many, many series of actions to further your growth. Hi, UC Berkeley. I'm Lisa Rykert, your career and professional development lead here at People and Culture. And this Grow on the Go video is brought to you by People and Organization Development to help you expand your mindset about the options for creating and achieving your professional development goals, and to help you better understand how professional development goals will show up in your employee experience at Berkeley from the perspective of your own personal growth journey and check-in conversations you will have with those in your growth network, like peers, colleagues, and your supervisor. I am so thrilled to be covering this topic with you today. Part of that excitement relates to our special guest, Vaneese Johnson. Vaneese is a UC Extension instructor and a subject matter expert on career planning and professional development. Vaneese is also an esteemed coach, a speaker, a trainer, and an author of Boldisms, Disruptive Thoughts to Help You Live Bold, Big, and Bad. Some of you may recognize Vaneese as a presenter and coach at our 2019 and 2020 NOW conferences. And I know many of you wanted to hear more from Vaneese. So she will be joining us in just a bit for a conversation about ways that staff can maximize their career growth potential through creating and achieving professional development goals. And we are a growth-based organization. So who better to join us for this conversation than the boldness coach herself? So before we speak with Vaneese, let's jump in a little deeper. So just a moment ago, I mentioned how Berkeley is a growth-based organization. This means that we believe anyone can learn or do anything if they put in the work, the practice, and the effort. And from an equity-oriented perspective, we want everyone to have access to all the skills and tools they need to pursue whatever they want in their career development. Equity is about outcomes and experiences for every employee every day. Having a growth-based organization furthers this vision. On the other hand, a fixed mindset organization creates an environment in which employees are static in their skills and experiences. A fixed mindset says, I'm either good at it or I'm not. My abilities don't change. I don't like being challenged. When I'm frustrated, I give up. I stick to what I know. Feedback and criticisms are bad. I don't like what I don't know. Failure is the limit of my abilities. A growth mindset, on the other hand, says, mistakes and failures are opportunities to learn and grow. Challenges help me stretch and grow. My effort and attitude determine my abilities. Constructive feedback is good feedback. I am inspired by the success of others. I like to try new things. What's next? Bring it on. So it's about perseverance in the face of failures. That effort is required to build new skills and an awareness that everyone, and that's you, has a unique and personal learning path. Before we talk more about professional development goals, I want to plant a few ideas in your mind that can help with creating clarity about the roles we play. It's The responsibility of UC Berkeley to enable the environment for career growth and development. UC Berkeley Procedure 50, recently updated in 2020, affirms that exempt employees have 10 days and non-exempt employees have 80 hours of professional development time annually. This is a big deal. At Berkeley, we also provide an environment for personalized development through coaching conversations, feedback, support, listening, and a massive amount of growth opportunities available at grow.berkeley.edu. With UC Berkeley's role in mind, you are responsible for your career journey. What you bring from your past experiences, the skills, traits, abilities, and competencies you have now, how you hope to grow, how you are going to get there, you're in the driver's seat. And think of UC Berkeley as the car. There are a lot of bells and whistles you get to choose to switch on to determine the speed, which direction you go, which map you use, and who will be your trusted co-pilots and passengers. You get to own this. And quite frankly, nobody else should own your story but you. While your manager, colleagues, coaches, mentors, sponsors, and advocates can be your best and your vast network and life-changing supporters who help you grow, you own your career. All right, we have our growth mindsets ready to go and an awareness of UC Berkeley as a vessel and catalyst for your career growth. Now let's expand our mindsets about professional development goals. Just for a few moments, think about your own career journey. Think about you. Think about your self-image, your identity, your purpose, your values. Now think about your story, your career story. How would you describe yourself professionally? Think about the skills you have, those you are working on, those you really enjoy contributing, those you're interested in developing. Think about your environment, those around you who are your helpers, and the space in which you work and engage every day. And think about your goals. Goals can pertain to every aspect of your career journey. When I'm working with staff or facilitating one of the Grow Your Career workshops, I find that the topic of goal setting is a common interest. People want to learn more about, how do I set and achieve goals? Goal setting or creating specific time-bound actions are just powerful ways to achieve success within all these elements of our career journey. For example, if you have an interest in a certain skill aspect, say you want to develop your skills in project management, then there are actions you would identify to achieve that skill. And those actions can be defined as goals. They can be small goals or large goals. As another example, perhaps you want to explore next steps in your career and you want to work on the story aspect. How do you share your professional story when you're networking, when you're in an interview? What can you do to develop that skill? So perhaps you will make a goal to practice with people you feel comfortable with, your peers, your colleagues. Perhaps you'll take a LinkedIn learning course. Perhaps you'll come to a staff career development workshop on telling your story. So these small actions relate to goals that you would set and achieve for yourself and include adding those to your calendar, setting deadlines for yourself. All of those relate to pre-steps that you can take. So setting goals is a powerful and effective tool to support all areas of your career and professional development. Let's continue to take a deeper look into the power of goal setting for professional development. Professional development can generally be broken down into 3 types of experiences: formal, informal or social, and experiential or on the job. Typically, about 10% of our effort and time is focused on formal, training, like in-person workshops, seminars, e-learning, attending a conference, those activities in which you can go at your own pace. Then it's typical to focus about 20% of your time on learning through others via networking or engaging in coaching or mentoring or sponsorship, exchanging ideas on message boards, participating in communities of practice. You might be thinking, what would constitute a 70% chunk of my professional development time that's not learning through training or through others? Well, that's about learning on the job through your own work that you do every day. So 70% of your professional development is a result of on-the-job activities. It could include doing something outside your comfort zone, like a stretch assignment, taking on a special initiative, collaborating on a project or program, researching and identifying trends and best practices, providing outstanding service, or contributing on a university committee. And for non-represented employees, career goals are baked into the Achieve Together Performance Development Program. This means one of your 2 to 5 dynamic goals every 4 months focuses on professional development. Keep this in mind for a second, and we'll come back to it, because you might be thinking, where would I start? Well, let me share some ways. Professional development goals can include skill building, informational interviews, networking, training, pursuing advanced credentials, certifications, or degrees, special projects, job shadowing, reading information about your profession and the industry and trends, writing, being a contributor, sharing your knowledge, learning a new skill, and volunteering on a range of committees, campus organizations. These professional development goals can be set for any length of time, depending on your path. You can use the check-in conversations as 4-month mile markers to highlight your growth, learning, and skill building with your supervisor. During your check-in conversation, your manager will ask you how they think they can best support your success. So you have a chance to think about and make some specific requests directly to your supervisor on how they can enable your growth and perhaps connect you to others and provide coaching to support your success. Before I welcome our special guest interview for today, I'd like to plant 5 considerations for creating professional development goals that advance your career. When thinking about your short-term and long-term journey, it's helpful to get clear about your vision by asking, what's next? Where do I see myself in the next 6 months, in the next year, in the next 5 years? What are some realistic short-term goals that I can start today? How do my realistic short-term goals advance my long-term journey? Wear your learning and growing story on your sleeve. Be willing to share your goals, challenges, and opportunities with others. You'd be surprised that when you share your aspirations, that others are willing to support you, and serendipitously, they might be able to connect you to someone or some opportunity or some resource that can support your career goals when you share it with someone else. So look for those helpers, and the more that you share, the more that you will find those helpers who are committed to supporting your success. So now I would like to introduce our special guest today, Vaneese Johnson, who is an international trainer, speaker, a very successful coach, and now a UC Extension instructor. And Vaneese, just to share a little more about Vaneese, is known as the Boldness Coach. She's a global leadership coach. She's a keynote speaker. She's a brand strategist and an author. And she has credentials that include certified career management coach, online strategist, small business advisor, 360 administrator and interpreter, and crucial conversations facilitator. Now, I'm so excited to introduce our special guest today, acclaimed coach, consultant, and author, Vaneese Johnson. Vaneese is known as the Boldness Coach. She is a global leadership coach, keynote speaker, brand strategist, and author. She teaches, empowers, and challenges professionals to step into their bold, big, and bad and up-level their career choices and successes with intention, ownership, and self-direction. Vaneese has also been involved, as I mentioned earlier, with our NOW conferences as a presenter and coach. And we are thrilled to have her back again to share more of her boldness and her wisdom.
One of the things that I would add to set yourself, in motion is to really think about what's next for you. Really spend some time being introspective and reflective and look at your career history because your career journey tells a story. And the story that it's telling up until this point, is this the story that you want to continue to be told, based on the journey that you're on? Or is it time for a new story? And I think that's really important. So I want to go on two areas of the story. So let's say that you're on this career journey, Lisa, and you're like, Vaneese, this is absolutely exactly where I want to be. Then I'm going to encourage you to step into your bigness, build in your genius. What I mean by that is, I want you to really look at these skills that you're happy with and identify the opportunity to go deeper with those skills. What else can you do with this skill? What else can you do with this skill? What else can you do with this skill? And it will really give, professionals an opportunity to really pick apart what they're doing to see where the opportunity to become bolder, bigger, and better and be happier with their career. So peel the layer back so that you're not in the monotony of just saying, yeah, this is great. And I'm okay with it. I really want you to be happy with it, not just okay. And you can create and shift your happiness time after time because life is continual, right? What we're happy with today may not be what we're happy with tomorrow, but we're not necessarily want to do something completely different. And the second half part of that is if it's time for a new story, then I really want you to look at your talents and your gifts and your skills and ask yourself, am I using them in this current role? Or have I maxed out the way that I can use them in this current role? And I'm going to encourage you to start looking around the organization and other departments, that you might be interested in working, other titles that you may want for yourself. And equally important, seek out other professionals that are doing the job in the UC family that you want to do. Have virtual coffee with them. Talk about, what is this role? How has this role supported them in achieving their career goals? What advice would they give to you for a person who is considering, switching career lanes, after being at an organization for whatever period of time? I think it's really important to tap into those resources. So those are two different paths that both individuals under the UC family can be able to pursue and still come out loving who they work for and what they do, not only in their career, but also for the academic world.
Yeah. Yeah, that leads me to some challenges that I've heard from UC Berkeley staff. And so, Vaneese, what are your thoughts on, the ability for somebody to continue to be a high performer in their current job, be crushing it in their current job, but at the same time to be exploring and striving for that next step? How could they be doing both?
That's really can be a tricky dance, but here's the good news. Don't do it by yourself. I would say that's a really challenge that a lot of professionals may be thinking about is I want to take my career to the next level, but I'm already taxed with doing the work that I'm doing, plus my life outside of work, right? That's a reality for a lot of us. But here's
Mhm.
what works: not doing it alone. Here are three support areas that I think are really important for each professional to have in their career. I have them in mine, Lisa, and I'm pretty sure you may have them in yours too. So you're going to need a sponsor, and a
Mhm.
sponsor, someone who is listening to opportunities to bring you in, someone who has a seat at the table. And because they are connected to you, because they understand what your career vision is, what your career mission is, what your goals are, they are out there navigating among their network, keeping their ear to the ground for you. So they're looking for those opportunities. And as soon as they hear about something, they invite you into the room. They make sure that you get a seat at the table. So it's important to
Mhm.
find sponsors, or should I say, find a sponsor. I don't want everybody walking out feeling like they need to have a whole 10, 12, 15. You really just need one sponsor who has a really good network, but someone that you are connected to and have built a rapport with. The second support person that you need is a mentor. This is someone who can kind of, from a coaching capacity, can be able to listen to, what you are proposing, to give you some feedback, to ask you some open-ended questions, to help you to kind of see things, from different perspectives. And perhaps they will also share with you their perspective, and also how they have been able to navigate some of the challenges that you may be experiencing, or to help you to prepare for challenges you may experience. So your
Mhm.
mentor really is kind of like your sounding board. So
Mhm.
because you don't want to be stuck in your own head. Because when we're stuck in our own head, we are very clever at digging rabbit holes. And
Mhm.
we will go down,
Yeah.
down, down our own rabbit hole. And the last support
Mhm.
person that you need is a champion. This is a person who really is singing the praises about you, your contributions, who you are as an individual, and also about your goals. So this is the person that is eager to find those opportunities and to make sure they're throwing your name in the hat. Make sure they're throwing your name in the ring. They're the person that is, when they hear of an event that's coming up, they call you right away and say, I heard this event and I put your name on the list. Now I just need you to confirm, yes, it's a go for you. So having a
Mhm.
sponsor, a mentor, and a champion to support you with your goals and your vision is important, so that you're not doing it by yourself. And each of those individuals hopefully are in influential positions. They have access to people, to information, to opportunities that you otherwise may take days, months, who knows how long to be able to uncover, maybe never. But definitely having those three support areas can help you still achieve your goals while performing at your job day to day.
Yeah, that's just such sage advice is, thinking about the different roles and relationships that people play in our lives, such as mentors, sponsors, champions. And sometimes those roles can even overlap, and they often do. So somebody who's a mentor becomes your champion, and somebody, who is a sponsor is also championing for you. And so, Venice, I wonder if you could share some ideas on how can people identify and build those relationships? How can they find a mentor, a champion, a sponsor?
That's a really great question, because I'm sure people may have been saying, "Oh, that sounds good. Yeah, but where do I look? How do I
Yeah.
what rock do I turn over to find this
Mhm.
person?" So here are some ideas. Think about a previous manager that you had a really great relationship with. Think about someone who was very supportive of you along your career journey. They helped you maybe with resources. They were encouraging with you. They always had an open door policy where you came in and had conversations with you. They also stretched you because they knew your potential and they wanted you to go beyond just potential. So tap previous managers that you have that relationship with. Also colleagues, colleagues that you have a really trusting working relationship with. That's going to be important because they've worked with you side by side. And those colleagues, perhaps, Lisa, they have gotten promoted, to another level or
Mhm.
gone on to other departments, but they definitely were great support systems while you worked together. So find that colleague that you know, like, and trust. Another is, and to connect and build your network. so many people miss out on connecting with individuals, and I'm going to throw LinkedIn in here, connecting with them on LinkedIn because the campus is so huge. UC Berkeley is international. And what a fantastic, already dedicated networking group that you can tap into to be able to grow your career. So spend
Mhm.
some time sifting through LinkedIn. LinkedIn has an alumni section. Spend time sifting through the alumni section for UC Berkeley, and you probably will be pleasantly surprised when you find out that there are other professionals that are in the departments with the titles that are part of your future vision. Reach out to those individuals. The commonality that you have is that you both work for this organization. And when people
Mhm.
have a direct commonality, they're more likely to have an open and transparent conversation with you. So
Mhm.
don't just sit scratching your head saying, I can't find anybody. I can't find anybody. I'm personally challenging you to tap LinkedIn, as a resource. And then Lisa,
Mhm.
I'm not sure because I'm very new to the UC staff, but perhaps there are some on-campus intranet systems, that maybe you think of that you can share where
Mhm.
individuals can tap even in their local areas, to be able
Mhm.
to get that support that they need. But by
Mhm.
no means, should you just continue to frustrate, yourself moving forward with your goals if you need support to help move you forward. The support is already here. We're just waiting on you to tap those resources so that you can elevate those connections.
Mhm. So, and one formal resource here on the UC Berkeley campus for finding mentors is our mentorship program. So we have a mentorship program here where one can find a mentor or be a mentor. So that is a formal program, and we'll provide that resource in our links. We can share that information, and then you can go to grow.berkeley.edu and you will find the mentorship program there. Go to the BSA website. And then I think another major takeaway by what you're sharing, Vaneese, is that um, there it doesn't have to be a formal process of like, where do I find a mentor or a sponsor or a champion? But just by virtue of building relationships with colleagues and with our managers and with opportunities across campus for being on a committee or joining a campus organization, these are how these relationships can naturally form. So it doesn't have to be a formal request to be a mentor, a sponsor, a champion, but by virtue of the relationships, it naturally happens that somebody wants to be your champion and invite you to something or refer you somewhere or you know, tell you about a job opportunity. So
Right,
it,
right. And
it's
here's the one thing that you might say, well, why still would someone want to support me? Because here's what you need, entering into the conversation. You want to have a vision and a mission for your career. People get excited when people come to them and say, this is what I'm doing in my career. I'm kind of stuck here, or I would love to get your advice. Because when I look at your career history, it looks like we have similar paths. Or I saw you at the Now conference, or perhaps I visited your LinkedIn profile and following you, and I've seen some of the publications you've contributed to. So don't make it hard, but come to the conversation with a sense of direction and with some sort of plan for people to help you. The
mhm,
best way to not get a sponsor, mentor, or a champion, Lisa, is to show up and say, I don't know where to start. I want you to give me some direction.
mhm,
The person's going
right.
to be like, you know what?
Mhm,
As soon as you get your goals together, come back and see me.
mhm, right.
That's important to do that. Show up and
Mhm,
be prepared to
mhm,
play.
mhm, right. And another good way to find a mentor, sponsor, or champion is to be those things to others. So,
Yes.
what you put out, you also receive. So those are wonderful opportunities to say, who can I support? Who can I champion, sponsor? How can I be a peer mentor to someone? So that can be a lot easier than trying to find or make a request, is to just to practice being that.
The one most pivotal point that I could share is that individuals who are highly successful, they treat their career like a business. They pay attention to the industry trends that are happening today, but they also are future focused. They look at what's coming 5 and 10 years down the road. So, what they do is they will take that information, look at their vision, look at their mission, and readjust it where accordingly, develop and strengthen those skills so that can become an asset today, and they're not what we call a commodity, meaning they keep themselves out of the commodity zone so that their skills are valuable and can be in demand. We need our managers to be partners with us to make sure that it's successful for everyone involved. But managers, please set aside time. You can do this quarterly or you can do this semi-annually to just make sure that employees and team members, team contributors know they matter.
Yeah, and at UC Berkeley, we are so fortunate in that we have the structure for that. We have the structure for managers to support their teams in that way. We have the professional development policy that allows for 10 days or 80 hours of professional development to explore and strengthen one's skills in their career.
And you know what, Lisa, I'll add to that. Thank you for sharing that what benefits are already there. It's important for managers to make sure that the team members are reminded that the benefits are there, because they can be there, they can be posted on the site that that team members have to go and search through, sift through. They could be an employee manual. However, when you are busy with day-to-day executing tasks and meeting goals, oftentimes that information, if it's not in front of you, you don't remember that it's available to you. So it's important for managers to, when they're having quarterly check-ins with staff, or even if they're having one-on-one meetings with a team member, is to really remind them, what resources are available that the organization is committed to, and working with that individual to schedule time on the calendar so they can definitely partake in that benefit.
Yes. Yes, and so in addition to that policy, we have the new Achieve Together performance development program that has scheduled conversations between managers and their staff to discuss their professional development. And then we have such a wealth of different opportunities that staff can choose from to own their career.
That's really important. So when you're making your goals, please share the appropriate ones with your manager so that they can be able to help you and support you with what you need to move forward. But if you don't share, if you don't tell, how will the manager know how to support you?
Well, Vaneese, thank you so much. This has been so much fun and so wonderful to continue to learn and be inspired from you. So thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you, Lisa.
Wow, that was really fun having that conversation with Vaneese and all that she shared. And this video is yet another mile marker on your journey. With expanded mindsets, the awareness of how UC Berkeley enables career growth, how you own your career journey, and the wonderful wisdom from our special guest, Vaneese Johnson, it is our hope that you now have perspectives and tools to continue that journey with greater clarity and enthusiasm. And let me just tell you, you've got this, and our team is here to help. Check out the grow.berkeley.edu website, the Grow Your Career page. It has many wonderful deep dive resources. You'll also find information about our one-on-one career coaching. I am one of the coaches, Linda Lundberg is the other, and we would welcome the opportunity to support you on how you can go more specific and deeper into setting and achieving your goals. And if you still just need support on envisioning what those are, perhaps you could start with the goal to have a goal. You might think, my goal is to create a goal that really excites me and aligns with my vision for myself over the short term and long term. So check out the helpful job aid linked in the description of this video for more information. And thanks everyone for your time today, for watching this Grow on the Go video. Once again, I'm Lisa Rykert. I am your Career and Professional Development Lead, and I hope that you have a great day. Go Bears! And I also love to say, grow bears. Bye.